What's up, you guys? Seth Chilcutt here, Chop and Shake episode 2 coming at you. Today we're going to do one of my favorite dishes to warm up your soul, and that's butter chicken. I want to make a nice Moscow Mule to go right along with it. Ginger is the ingredient of the day today. We're going to take you right on a journey. Let's get started. The bulk of the work for this dish is going to be all in your prep. Once you get this marinade ready and done, which takes a bit more than any other part, when it comes time to cook, it's a little maintenance heavy for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then the rest of it is just letting it sit and slowly adding things. So as long as you can get this marinade made, which I will say you do need a food processor for, once you get past that, you'll be totally in the clear. To start off, we're going to roast this red pepper. So throw your oven on broil. I know it's a little scary for some people, but throw it on broil. Trust me, leave it in there for a while. Just don't take your eye off of it. You have some leniency room to walk around, I don't know, do the dishes or something, but keep an eye on it. Let it get a good char in a couple of spots. That's all you're really going to need before you pull it right out of the oven. What I usually do is about a 1/2 inch in width. And just keep those chunks of chicken, throw them into the bag. That's what will marinate them in. For me, my chicken's still a little frozen. It's going to finish its defrost while it marinates in the fridge. And so we just really want to make sure we get as even of cuts as we can so that it cooks evenly when it comes time to in the pan. Now that we've finished cutting the chicken, let's sanitize our board, sanitize our knife, and let's cut our pepper. Let's cut our ginger, and let's get our garlic prepared. Those are going to be the other ingredients to this marinade. It doesn't really matter how you chop these. I just want them to be cut so that it's easier on your food processor to go through there. One other helpful hint that's really helped me with ginger is to throw it in the freezer, and then it becomes a lot easier to peel. As you can see, I will do that with a spoon and just peel off as much of that stuff as you can get off the outside. And then it'll be less noticeable when it comes to actually being in the dish. I will say, the first time you make this dish, make sure you have probably quite a few people coming over. Worst case scenario, you order a couple of pizzas if it's bad. But it is a large portion, and if you just have 2 people over, you're going to be stuck with leftovers for days, which isn't a bad thing if you're a leftovers person. If you're somebody who doesn't like to eat them, which I know sometimes we can be, it is a nightmare to have when you're done. It looks like you didn't even make a dent in it. This meal will absolutely fill you up. Cashews. The surprise bit that you probably didn't think about when we're making a marinade is for butter chicken, our bulk of the marinade is actually going to be cashews through this food processor. So if you think about it, cashews, red pepper, garlic, and ginger aren't exactly the most moist thing. So as we throw this into the blender, you're going to need to add some liquid. I do that in the form of olive oil, as I want to make sure it's a nice paste to throw into that bag so it's easy to move around. And then when we cook it, it'll be creamy enough to add into that chicken and make sort of a gravy-like substance, if you will. Now that we've got all that blended up nice and smooth, we got to put it into the bag, and you got to have a dance party.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Super quick chopping session here after a couple hours of the chicken marinating so that we can get ready to cook. All you need now, onions, cilantro.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
I use my cast iron pot for this dish. It works amazing. It holds everything, cooks at a nice even temp. So boom, pot, boom, butter, add the onions. Let's cook those down. Once those get cooked down, they get a little translucent. Now it's time to add your key spices. That's going to be garam masala, ground coriander, and cumin. I actually add more to my butter chicken than most recipes call for. I really want that flavor to stand out and be strong and really kind of catch you off guard with this dish is different. These spices will do just that for you. So I'm adding 2 teaspoons of each into my pot with my onions. I'm going to let those cook down for about 3 minutes, and then I'm going to add our chicken with the marinade. Now, what's important with the chicken is you want to get a lot of the cooking process done now so that you don't have the chance of any of the chicken still being raw by the time your entire dish is finished. So, throw it in the pan, get a good caramelization on the actual chicken itself. This marinade will cook down, it will get to more of a liquid state, especially once we add our other ingredients. Now that you've got the chicken right where you want it, it's time to add the last couple ingredients. We're going to do a pint of cream. Now I know I only did a cup here, but I do this gradually throughout the process. And then we're going to do about 14 ounces of tomato paste. These two things will simmer down in the sauce, make it more liquidy, and really give this lovely, rich texture to this dish. Now you want to keep this on medium-low heat so nothing really burns to the bottom. It's something that you're going to put a lid on, you're going to walk away, you're going to come back, you're going to stir it. No more than 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. And then once it all is done, you can pull a piece of chicken out, you can check it, make sure it's cooked all the way, the sauce has come down. Then you pull it off the heat. Pull it off the heat, and then you add a half a cup of Greek yogurt. Just right at the end. It's going to make it creamy and luscious and just elevate this part of the dish. It gives a zing or a tang that it wouldn't quite have until you add that yogurt right at the end, and then boom, that's all you need for the gravy for this butter chicken. All right, now we just got to make our rice as the base for this gravy and chicken. So we're going to do 2 cups of rice, and we're going to toast that on medium heat with some olive oil. We're going to get it to a nice white color. It's a little more toasty than the white right out of the bag or the jar. Once it gets there, we're going to add 3 cups of water. And as soon as you add this, it's going to sizzle hot while you've been toasting that rice. Let it do that. Stir it a little bit. And then you want to let the water get to a boiling point for a rolling boil. You can test that by stirring while it's boiling. And if it doesn't continue to boil through your stir, then it's not quite ready yet. But once it does, and you're stirring and it continues to boil, that's when you're going to put the heat down to low, and you're going to cover that rice, and you're going to let it sit there. Just let it sit there, and then the rice will eventually be done. You can leave it on low for a very long time. It's going to steam. Let it sit there. Trust the process. Your rice will be great if you just don't open that lid. So now that I got my fake naan bread, I'm just going to wrap it up in some tinfoil, throw it in the oven at 350, and let that heat up. Now, yes, I know I'm editing this step in last, but throw this in while you do the rice so that it actually is warm by the time your rice is done, please. All right, you guys, we're going to go through this Moscow Mule super quick. It is simple and easy. But before we get into it, look in the description below. I've put a link to Greg at How to Drink's YouTube channel for his ginger simple syrup. I'd like to tell you right now, I use this instead of going and hunting for ginger beer. I find it a lot more cost effective and more flavorful, so I highly recommend checking that out, as that's what I'll be using in our recipe today. So, ice in a mixing cup. 2 ounces of vodka is what you're going to need here. I like mine Palova. I used it in the last episode as well. You're going to do 1.5 ounces of ginger simple syrup. 1 lime, which I have a smaller lime here, so keep that in mind. And 3 ounces of San Pellegrino sparkling water. Now, I would also recommend using club soda. I think that's a very good move. I personally like the extra carbonation that San Pellegrino can add to this drink. Once you have all that in, stir it, and then strain it right into your copper mug over some crushed ice, and boom, Moscow Mule nailed. All right, you guys, time to plate up. Bowl, rice on the bottom, gravy on top, make sure you get some chicken in there, and cilantro to garnish that we chopped earlier. That's all you need. Throw that warm pita right over the top, dip that sucker in there, and you've got a perfect dinner. Pair it right with that Moscow Mule, it'll warm you right up, and that is a chop and shake approved dish. Can't thank you guys enough. Seriously, thank you for tuning in to Chop and Shake. Episode 2, we're gonna get ready for episode 3 coming out here in a couple of weeks. But seriously, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Let me know if there's any way I can improve. I'd always love to hear, or any recipes you want me to tackle that would help you out at home. Certainly, all is welcome. Let me know down in the comments.